First of all, thank you everyone for joining us on the call today. For another webinar. I've been a bit slack on the webinars recently. For those of you who might not know me, I'm Ben Hawkey. I'm the CEO of Real Growth, a company that specializes in helping agents build their brand and build their database with more homeowner leads. I'm also the co-founder of a company called Konnect, which was formerly called Nurture, which is a prospecting software tool that allows agents to basically nurture their database more effectively and ultimately convert more of their leads into listings. And so today we're welcomed with a special guest, Alex Dunn from Harcourt's New Age up in Auckland. Alex is a rising star, I would definitely say, and has made a remarkable journey to becoming the #1 Harcourt's agent in South Auckland. So Alex, it's a pleasure to have you join us on the webinar today.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Hey, so Alex, before we kind of dive into it, I've really kind of seen your career grow over the last couple of years, and I think it's very inspiring for a lot of other young agents out there. But I think it also, hopefully today, talking about this will help serve as a bit of a blueprint for many other, perhaps young agents who are looking to achieve similar success. Before we dive into like the strategies and what you're doing in your business, would you mind sharing a little bit about, I guess, your journey to date, like what drew you to real estate in the first place, and when did you first get started?
So I was initially working as a marketing manager outside in a completely different industry, in the FMCG industry. And I just saw opportunities that, I was putting in big work for someone else. They were getting all the rewards for it, new homes and cars and all that kind of thing. And I just thought, look, I'm sitting in this seat doing what I'm doing. I'm never going to get there. So looked elsewhere. I've always, seen the real estate agents and, million dollar listings and all that kind of thing. I thought, it's something, I think I'd be quite good at. Had a bit of experience in sales, obviously some experience in marketing. So I put the two together and took the plunge. So yeah, started off at another brand, was there for a little over 12 months, and then came over to Harcourt's just when I was on a bit of a growth trajectory, I suppose, and was looking for, okay, how do we lay this foundation to really support the growth that we are trying to achieve and sort of starting to experience. So yeah, it's been really, really good. The area that I started working in, I'm sorry, I keep saying we because I'm teamed up with another guy, for those who don't know, Amy. The area that we worked in, we didn't have a huge database from, so it was really starting from ground zero and building that database through, I guess, very, very basic means to achieve where we are today.
And so when did you start, and how long have you been? Has it been 3 years? Is that right?
Yeah, so we started early 2021. Wow. Yeah, 2021. Yeah.
And now you're number one Harcourt's in South Auckland. That's an amazing rise to growth, for sure. So congrats there. Hey, as we go through this webinar, everyone, if anyone wants to drop any questions in for Alex, feel free to drop them in the Q&A chat at the top of the screen, and we can address them as we go. Now, just kind of like moving on to, I guess, your success with, well, actually, let's start with like the early days when you first got started, Alex.
Yeah.
In your first 1 to 2 years, I guess, as a new agent, can you pinpoint any kind of key activities that you were doing on a daily or weekly basis that you believed had kind of like the biggest impact on propelling your career forward, like habits or things that you were like, you felt, yeah, these are these key activities that I was doing as a young agent that really allowed me to achieve that growth?
Yeah. So key thing was being super, super disciplined in the door knocking. That was the bread and butter, is every single day door knocking. Like, I'm not talking like 5 to 10 doors. I'm talking hours on end, door knocking till like literally exhausted, and just talking to as many people as we can, not with the intention of getting a listing. Every now and then you door knock someone who said, oh, I actually am thinking of selling it, so let's do an appraisal. But the intention was, firstly, get our name and our face out there, and actually start building the database. So getting an email, getting a phone number, even permission to drop an update in the letterbox kind of thing. So that was the bread and butter, is just door knocking every single day. Something new gets listed, I'm door knocking that street before the agent is. Something gets sold, I'm door knocking the street before that agent is. So that was really the crux. So that was really, really successful for us. And then we started overlaying that with social media stuff, letters as well. We eventually got into the cold calling, which it wasn't a strength of ours, but the door knocking we did really, really well. And so that was what we really focused on. And I think as soon as you get out of the mindset that I'm doing this to get a listing, that's when success starts coming, where you change that frame of mind. You're having a conversation with a neighbor to ask about the area, to ask about, is there someone they may know who might be interested in buying or selling a property, rather than just saying, I'm going to door knock and I'm just going to say, hey, do you want to sell?
Yeah. So like so you're door knocking with the goal of just building the database, asking permission to perhaps, keep them updated with what's been going on in the market. And if a listing came from it or an appraisal came from it, that's the cherry on the top. But
Absolutely.
The reality is that the goal was to build the database of address, email, phone, name.
Yeah, that's it.
Name. And you feel like that was the pillar to really leapfrogging you to it. Like, so these conversations that you might have had 3 years ago now might be coming to fruition. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there was one the Sunday just been. We first door knocked and appraised the house in 2021. We just listed it on Sunday. It's coming to the market on Tuesday this coming week. So yeah, exactly.
The proof's in the pudding.
Absolutely, yeah. And people say, "Oh, I'm not interested to sell for the next 3-4 years." That's fine. I'm going to be here, so let's keep the lines of communication open.
Yes. And I'm keen to move on to like how you keep in touch with those people a little bit further down the line. But let's pull it back to just the social media. So you said you started overlaying your door knocking then with some social media and those types of things. Are you able to like, I know like you're very active on social media. Are you able to elaborate on the types of content and videos that you create for social media? And then once we've kind of talked about the types of content you're creating, maybe elaborate on kind of the impact you've found it's had on your business.
Yeah, absolutely. So take it a step back. When we were out door knocking in 2021 and all that kind of thing, and then remember we went into that lockdown. So all of a sudden our key prospecting tool was taken away from us. So we were kind of, having that background in, marketing, advertising, social media advertising as well. We were able to step back, locked inside homes and still putting out these sort of lead generation tools to do exactly what we're doing, door knocking, but instead we were reaching out to people on social media. So that's something we never stopped doing. And now we're doing sort of, we're very aware that social media is very, very high turnover of content. So we don't spend too much time in making a particular video. It might be an area update, or just listed, or just sold. Usually we're doing 1 to 2 takes of that and we're posting it out straight away. We know that as soon as it's posted, in an hour, 2 hours, if that, it's become redundant and people have moved on to the next thing. So it's very, very high turnover stuff. It's quick stuff. It's short stuff. It's just, nothing too serious, nothing that's really heavy to digest for the consumer. It's just, really, really easy stuff, appealing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, so what is a market update, or sorry, like a suburb update? What does that look like?
Yeah, suburb update. So it might be like, hey, month of March, there was, 100 properties have sold, 300 came to the market. We might say, look, there's a key highlight. This particular property's just been listed. There might be an anomaly sale that was really, really low or really, really high that we highlight. We then also say, look, this is what we're kind of seeing. Buyers are turning up in huge numbers, low numbers. Just sort of some sort of summary that we're finding through the open homes. Just really, really quick.
And so the purpose to expand on what's even the purpose behind this for people who are like, okay, well, what's the point? Like, what's the purpose? Like, we've spoken about it before, but just for everyone else watching, what's the goal behind positioning it? Well, I don't want to say it for you. Yeah.
I guess, when I first came into real estate, and Emmy's goal, and which why we work really, really well together, is our goal is always to be seen as the experts in the market. Whether you call us to list and sell your home, or I literally just got off the phone this morning, someone listed with Ray White, they've had a couple of offers, they want to get my opinion on where should they go next. And I wasn't saying, don't list with them, list with me, saying, hey, look, they're doing some really, really good work with you. You should really consider some of the offers that are coming in because of these reasons that are happening in the market. That is the position you really want to be in, the go-to person for anything real estate related.
Yes, got it. And so that's the purpose behind the videos, is to position
Absolutely.
yourself and Amy as that go-to expert in the local
Absolutely.
market.
Yeah.
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 Got you, got you. So we've got, market updates. So what is it
Yeah.
just sold? What does like a just sold kind of campaign look like? I know they're really powerful. I've seen you do them with like the green screen behind you with the property.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about what is it just sold kind of like?
Yeah.
You've just sold a
Sure.
property. How do you
Yeah.
turn that into a bit of content?
Yeah, again, it comes back to that original goal, how we're the experts in the market. Say, look, we've just done a really, you might have sold it at auction. It's a really good campaign. We had this many people through the door. We had this many registrations. We had this many pre-auction offers. Just summarize the whole thing, and it leading back to we're the experts in the market because we can pull off a campaign like this. We even talk about some of the challenges we had. There's been properties that have sat on the market for longer than we'd like, probably close to that 90-day mark. And it's just highlighting, okay, this is why we had those challenges. We're happy to wait for the key buyer or whatever it will be. Tough negotiations. We talk about all those kind of things. Again, coming back to why we're the experts in the market to get that sole result.
Now, it's kind of just, I just want to highlight something for everyone. I'm pretty sure in your videos, Alex, you don't finish saying we are the experts in the market. It's
Definitely
kind
not.
of assumed by the content. So I just want to make it clear for the
Yeah.
agents out there, by just sharing those insights and
Yeah.
sharing your expertise, it's
Yeah.
implied that you're positioning yourself as the expert. So you don't need to finish the video saying,
Oh,
and thanks, Alex Dunn. We're the experts in South Auckland market. No, there's no need to do
yeah.
that. So I just wanted to
Yeah.
highlight for
Yeah.
everyone
Thanks
listening
for
that's
that.
like, oh, if I need to position myself as the expert, do I need to tell everyone I'm the expert?
I'll tell
No, it's
people.
more about
Yeah.
the implied.
No. It's one of those things like if you are the experts in the market, people will tell you. You don't need to tell them.
Yeah,
So
100%.
in fact, very rarely in our videos will we say, look, call us for an appraisal, call us to list your property. Would be hardly, there might be a few videos we say that, but very rarely we've really tried to move away from that.
Yeah, that whole give, and
Exactly.
then they will come. They will call like that person you said who gave you a call to ask what was
Yeah.
your opinion on something.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's when you know you're doing it right.
Yeah. Definitely.
How do you make time or what's your process around creating videos? Because I know a big barrier for a lot of agents is, oh, Ben, I just don't have enough time to create the videos. Like, are you planning it out? Or do you just have a process? It's like, okay, when we sell a property, we're going to do a video on this, and we're going to prioritize it. Like, how do you kind of make sure it doesn't keep getting put on the back burner because you have to be disciplined around things.
Yeah, we've literally, like you say, we've built it into our process. When we list a property, same thing. In that listing process, before it comes to market, there's a video in there. We literally have to tick it off to move on to the next steps. Same thing when it's sold. You obviously have to do, all the paperwork, result, transaction report, etc., etc. Make sure the deposit's paid. The video's in there as well. The
Just sold video
is not properly sold until you've done the video. Your job is not over until the video's done.
Got you. Is that the same with like market updates and all that? Is it like a monthly task?
Yep. Put it in the calendar. Our calendar is it's jam-packed. We find, you don't need a huge amount of time to do videos. Like I said, we're doing 1 to 2 takes on videos. We're not trying to edit them or anything. Like that green screen one's just the default setting on Instagram. We're not spending very little time to do it. So we might book out 15 minutes between appointments or something, do the quick video and move on.
Yeah. Don't overthink
we're not
it.
writing out scripts or anything either. We're just saying, look, this is the overall idea we're trying to discuss. Let's just one hit and see what happens.
Yeah. So if you're an agent, we are an agent. Say you've never done a video before. Or say there's people here that don't do videos consistently.
Yeah.
What would be one video that you feel like has the biggest impact in terms of maybe positioning yourself as an expert outside of listing videos? So like, what's one other video, if you could only do one other video for social media outside of your listing videos, what would that be? Like, and why would you decide to do that? Just trying to break it down to small steps.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Say you're getting, very little listings or very little sales, it would just be the area updates. Be the expert in your market, or even if you've got lots of time and the will to do it, break out to any little areas as well that are, smaller suburb bases. You could then do, local cafe reviews, local restaurant reviews, parks, all that kind of thing. Start talking about that. It'll all build up. and
Yeah.
to come to that expert in the market, you know. And one thing that I did, which I don't think I've ever told anybody, when I first started being on video, I was very, very awkward. I would set up the holder in the car, and on my way to and from the gym, I'd just record myself just talking, just to get used to being in front of the camera. And I don't watch them, I just delete them. But eventually I got into that state where I was, more comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah. Well, it just takes practice, doesn't it? So just to kind of reiterate what you just said, you're saying if you could only do one video, a market update style video would be your go-to.
Yeah. How many just sold? How many just listed? If you've got, auctions from all brands in the area, hey, number 123 Smith Street just sold. They had 3 bidders at the auction, great competition between buyers, done.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be your listing, I promote a lot of other people's listings. You just put in the comments, listed and sold by, whatever brand, whatever person.
Yes, that makes complete sense. And that answered a key question there, which was if you have no listings, what do you post? So that answered that. Just before we move on to like the nurturing and what you're doing in your systems and processes, before we kind of go down that track, there is one question here in the Q&A, and that was when you were door knocking out, like what were you saying to people to typically, like it would obviously depend whether it was like just sold around the corner, I guess, or it was listed, or but like what was like to get their details?
Yeah, so a good one for just listed. I mean, obviously in 2021, a lot of stuff was getting listed and then sold very quickly. So you could say, hey, look, 123 Smith Street's just been listed around the corner from you. 3-bed, single level brick and tile. Would you like me to keep in touch with what it sells for? They might say, oh yeah, actually I would. Okay, cool. What's the best phone number to text it through to you? Then that was my go-to. Yeah.
Got ya.
And same thing, it's an excuse to then have that second communication with them as well.
And you would do that even if it wasn't your listing, all right? Because if you had no listings.
I had no listings, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, so you're building up this database with all your door knocking. You're obviously using social media to stay top of mind and almost like retarget those people who you have been door knocking, so you can consistently position yourself as that expert. But with this data that's now in your database, what I see a lot is a lot of agents, I guess, don't utilize the data they have to continue to build the relationship. So what are you doing outside of Konnect? What are you doing to nurture and build relationships with those people on your database?
Yeah, I was pretty much doing the same thing we were door knocking, but from the comfort of the office. I was texting them just listed, just sold all day long. I'm not asking for any business. I'm not at all not asking for appraisal even, just saying, very common one that I use is, hey, hope you and the family are doing well. 123 Smith Street just sold or just listed, whatever. Now I've expanded a little bit more just because of the ease of the system that we're going to discuss in a second. I give a little bit of a summary. Hey, this is what we're seeing in the market. A lot of sellers on the market, obviously, not as many buyers on there. Buyers have got a lot more competition, a little bit more selective, something like that, just with a current market update. And, the good thing is, guys, you don't have to come up with that yourself. If you don't have listings, or you're not getting a good insight into market through open homes, Tony Alexander puts out a report every single week that'll tell you exactly what's happened. That's research based.
Yeah. So you were using text message, were you using calls or email, or like were you doing anything else? Or not so much?
Text was easiest for me. I always found that. Some people that get a call from a real estate agent, there's never a good time to get a call from a real estate agent, right? So, some people just, you send a text message, they might not reply. In fact, I've got so many examples of people that I've kept in touch with. I've texted them every week, sometimes every month, every quarter, no reply. And then, like this one I'm talking about that we listed over the weekend, been messaging her every month, every quarter for the last 2-3 years. And then she said, hey, look, we're ready to go to market. Can you come around?
But most of the time she wasn't replying to those.
Never replied. Never replied. Ever.
So if you don't, so it's I guess a note to everyone as well. Right? If you're not getting replies, just keep going, because it doesn't mean they're not finding it valuable.
Yeah, unless they've actually told you in very explicit terms that we've all experienced not to message them, I keep messaging.
Yeah, and proof's in the pudding.
Exactly.
Cool. So you were using text message back in 2021 before you even had a tool that allowed you to streamline the process. able to maybe show us a little bit about what you're doing now,
Yeah,
from a prospecting point of view to keep in touch via text message?
yeah, absolutely. Do you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, if you can, if you can overtake my screen, or I can stop sharing, and perhaps you can hit the share button.
Okay.
Awesome. So what are we looking at here?
So this is the Konnect system that we use. So essentially, I've got my whole database, or majority of my active database, uploaded into here, and it loads.
Yeah, this it's a poor connection.
Yep, there you go. And then I just come in here every, I don't want to say week, 2 weeks, look in here, all the recent sales in the area relative to my database. Now, what I'll do is let's just click on this one.
So this is a recent sale, 26, what is it? 26
26
Lenora Road, Takanini.
And then you come down here to the database. It shows, look, they are 212 meters away from this person's house. I'll message them relatively recent. Wait, here you go. Use my address. There you go. Allow to open in messages. Yes. And then it's got a full breakdown here of a pre-written message. So like I was saying before, a little bit of an update of where I see the value. Just wanted to let you know, 2x6, two-bedroom home near you, just recently sold for amount. And that changes for each property, obviously. And always at the bottom, hey, I know you're not looking to sell, but I know it's good to know what's happening around you. Just something lighthearted, and I'll send that off to them as well.
Awesome.
You know, and here's one I sent earlier today. If you see over here, Cheyenne here, I sent a similar message this morning. Hey, thanks for the update. We'll keep an eye on the market trend.
That was her reply.
Yeah.
So what, like, so how many text messages would you be sending out on average a month, would you say? And like, what's the kind of typical replies?
Oh, how many a month? I don't know, a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Couple of good couple of hundred, I'd say. And then typical reply be like, hey, you know, thanks for the update. You know, I think out of all the messages I've had ever using this system, I've had one person say, hey, look, I look on homes.co, you don't need to text me.
Yes.
Fine, you know, take them off. Good. You
Sure.
know?
And so what type of results and have you seen so far from using the system to speed up your text message communication?
What's really interesting with this, and I've always found with the text messages and these quick, short, sharp messages, is that you don't even know who's on your database and where they are in the selling journey. There's been numerous examples of, I've just been doing my messages as I do every single week, and someone says, hey, actually, you know, in the next 1 to 2 months, we are actually looking to sell. So, you know, let's keep in touch a little bit closer. And then I just make a mental note, keep in touch with that person a little bit closer, you know, maybe drill down a bit more locally for that person, what's happening as well.
Awesome. And have you got appraisals and listings out of using it so far?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I'm like saying, you know, one the other week, you know, I'm sure a couple of months ago I got one as well, dedicated through this as well. There's been ones of people I don't even know who are getting close to selling. Same thing, you know, that'll come on maybe 1 to 2 months time, and you know, all from this is just keeping in touch.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really good to just, you know, see how agents are using the system, and more importantly, the results that they are achieving through using it.
Definitely.
So if anyone wants to kind of give this a go, I'll flick out an email to everyone after this, and there'll be a 30-day free trial. So anyone who wants to give a go and use the same system that Alex is using, we have a 30-day free trial, so you can give it a blast, have a play around, see if it's going to work for you. And yeah, but just moving on now. Thanks so much for sharing your screen, Alex. I will share the screen now. Back to it. Before we kind of wrap things up, if there's anyone who's got any other questions, whether it was about the text messaging tool, anything else that Alex has been talking about, feel free to drop it in the Q&A chat. So while we wait for some of these questions to come through, Alex, just got kind of one final question for you. As someone, I'm sure, like, you're always looking at, you know, where's the new tech, what's happening out there, what trends are happening. I guess, what are you excited about in terms of new technology that's coming, that might become available in the future for real estate? And like, is there anything that you're kind of keeping an eye on that's like, oh, I'll see how this tracks, because I can see it can really help me?
Yeah. I'm watching like the likes of these AI technologies pretty closely to see. I think a lot of people, I mean, there's like a sliding scale, right? It'll eventually go far too far and won't become effective. Real estate's a very face-to-face business. The face-to-face, like the door knocks, that's always going to be effective, right? So whilst AI and these other technologies will have their place, definitely worth looking at. There's always that face-to-face stuff that always runs. So don't rely too much on the likes of that sort of technology that's coming through. But I believe so much in the text messages. I think it's pretty invasive. People can check the text messages whenever they want. They don't have to reply. Whereas a phone call, people might not want to have a conversation, might be having a shit day or whatever. So catch them at an odd moment.
Yeah, got yeah. And so I've been obviously watching the AI space as well, whether it's calling and things like that, and
Yeah,
how could it help? But it's difficult in the real estate space because it is such a relationship based business. So
absolutely.
it'll be interesting to see where it fits in and where it's not going to work, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So it'll be an interesting space. Someone's just asked a question here. What system do you use when communicating with via text message?
Yep.
So that's Konnect,
Yep.
the website that Alex was on,
Yep.
and I'll send an email out. So
Yep.
Konnect is the tool that Alex was using to send text messages out. So
Konnect, very, very good to use. I used to do it just all in the notes for my phone, and I'd have all the owners' contacts in my phone saved into their suburbs, and I would manually text every single one of them, copy the main part, and then say, "Hey, John," and then paste, send, next one. Yeah. So this is
a
my
bit more time consuming.
absolutely.
Awesome. Hey, well, thanks so much for your time today, Alex, especially on a Friday, man. Hey, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, maybe they got some questions, what's the best way for them to kind of reach out to you?
Flick me a text message. Call or text message anytime. I've got no issues. Yeah, we can sit down, have a coffee, discuss further, whatever you guys want to do. Easy as.
Awesome. Alex's contact details will be found on his website, so pretty straightforward there. It's pretty easy to get hold of an agent in New Zealand, right? The contact details are everywhere. So no, appreciate that. It's very kind. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on the call today. And I'll flick out the recording as well as a link to that software tool that Alex is using. So thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Have a great day. Cheers, guys. Cheers, Alex. We'll talk to you later.